But if that desire is coming from good intentions, then that desire is approved of and something that you should be reaching towards, something that you should be striving towards, something that you should be seeking, something that you want for yourself, something that you want for yourself and for the people around you. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والتسليم. None can claim to believe unless they love for the Muslim brother what they love for themselves. Up here the word brother is used as a generic term, not specifically man, but Muslim brethren, brothers and sisters. You as a Muslim should want for every other Muslim what you want for yourself. So if you want knowledge for yourself, if you want wisdom for yourself, you should want that for everyone else. Sahih? Now, how does the deen come into categories and what is the process of learning the deen? How should we learn the deen and where should the deen be sought and what should you learn about the deen? Ayyuhal ikhwatul muslimun, we know from the tradition of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that the deen is taught by individuals, from one individual to another. You are not to learn your deen on the internet or by merely reading a book. No. Deen is learned from individuals because this is the silsila, the tartib, the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam himself. And you will find that all of the Anbiya alayhim salatu wa taslim, they all taught the deen from one individual to another. So what is the point of books? What that is to preserve the deen, but then to pass it on is from one individual to another. That is the tool that is used. The tool, the book, the pen, the paper, that is the tool. But where do you get the real dhawq, the taste, the lutf, the subtle mercy, the hikmah, the wisdom, the ma'rifah, the understanding, the haqiqah, the reality is from individuals. Which is why we have this process of what we call sanad, a chain of transmission, which runs from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to people in this day. You have individuals who have learned the Quran, and there is a chain of transmission. They learned Sayyidina Abu Bakr, wa Sayyidina Umar, wa Sayyidina Usman, wa Sayyidina Ali, wa Sayyidina Talha, wa Sayyidina Zubair, wa Abdul Rahman bin Auf radiyallahu anhum wa arda. Al-Firaq al-Ansar wal-Muhajir, Al-Ahl al-Baqi wal-Mu'alla, ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in. These Sahaba, they learned from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They then passed on from their tongue to the tabi'een, who then passed on from their tongues to the tabi'een. This silsila, this tartib, the ayats of the Quran were passed on, the traditions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were passed on. Hence we had sahih hadith and not so sahih hadith. So everything that was passed on, which had a chain of transmission, that was taken down as pure sacred knowledge with the chain of transmission. Anything that breaks away from that cannot be taken on as the deen, because there is no reliance upon that. We do not rely upon what we think is correct and what we know to be correct. Sahih? Hence we have the Quran. That silsila, that tartib that was passed on, every single letter, word, harakah of the Quran is sahih. They are not 10 juz missing from the Quran. They are not ayats of the Quran that was supposed to be revealed on a Sahabi, but by mistake they were revealed upon the son of Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If that was the case, then there would have been a sahih chain of transmission with a testimony with it. One of the companions would have testified to it. One of the members of the household, the Ahl Bayt, would have testified for it. But you don't find any testimony. Hence we know the testimonies which have been given to us in the chain of transmissions. Hence you have the different recitations of the Quran, the Hafs, the Warsh, the Qumbul, and so on. They all come with the chain of transmission. Hence we have the collections of ahadith, the hadiths that were given, which are passed on to us to this day. They come from a chain of transmission. Hence the following hadith. I took this hadith from my teacher Shaykh Abdul Aziz Hafidullah Ta'ala anhu. May Allah protect and preserve him. Who took it from his teacher Habib Ahmad Mashur bin Ta'al Haddad rahimahumullah. May Allah bestow his mercy upon him. Who took it from his teachers to the chain of transmission to Sayyidina Umar bin Abi Khattab radiyallahu anhu. The second time I took this hadith And this is not to say that I am a master of this hadith, astaghfirullah al-azim. It's to say that I am, INSHA'ALLAH, a seeker of sacred knowledge. That's all I'm doing. The second time I took this hadith was from Habib Qadim as-Saggaf, hafidhullah ta'ala anhu, may Allah protect and preserve him, who took this hadith from Habib Umar ibn Hafidh, hafidhullah, who took this hadith from his teachers and took the train of transmission to Sayyidina Umar ibn Abi Khattab. The third time I took this hadith was from my teacher, Shaykh Abul Qalam al-Qadiri Rizvi, hafidhullah ta'ala anhu, who took this hadith from Muhammad Mustafa Raza Khan, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, who took from his grandfather, Imam Hamd Raza Khan, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, and that chain of transmission goes to Sayyidina Umar ibn Abi Khattab, radiyallahu anhu. The hadith is known as Hadith Jibreel. The Hadith Jibreel is as follows, and the foundation of the deen and the teachings of the deen is based upon this. In the meaning of the hadith, Sayyidina Umar ibn Abi Khattab radiyallahu anhu warda narrates that one day we were sitting with the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, and in the gathering came in a man who was wearing a white thobe, a white jabba, and he had a flowing beard and flowing white hair. He was very handsome looking, but no signs of travel or tiredness were apparent upon him. This man walked into the gathering and he came and sat in front of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the extent where his knees were touching the knees of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he put his hands onto the thighs of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Picture this. Say if someone just walks into this room right now and they go in front of Brother Ats Iqbal. You get me? And the boy sits there and he puts his knees against the knees of Brother Ats Iqbal. Brother, and he puts his hands on his thighs. That man's gonna lose his hands. You know it. Move your hand from a thigh, bro. Rather the adab of coming into a gathering would be you walking, I'm sorry Brother Ats. It's hadha muhabba. Rather the etiquette would be that you walk into a gathering and you sit down in a place that is available. You don't push people out the way. Hence, for those of you who, INSHA'ALLAH, ya Rab, go to the masjid on a regular basis, when you go to the masjid, the adab of entering the masjid is when you enter the masjid, regardless of which madhab you follow, all four imams are unanimously accept this ruling that when you walk into a masjid, you sit down in the first place available. If you see in the first saf that there is an empty place, go there. Because the khair, the goodness that you receive from the saf that is closest to the imam, that khair, it gets less and less and less until you get to the back. So brothers, INSHA'ALLAH, you do go to the masjid at least once a day. And I hope that in Sheffield you do have places for sisters to go into the masjid. Do you? Yes, inshallah. So this is the adab of entering the masjid. The adab of this etiquette is to be used when you enter a gathering of the sacred deen. Whether it be a gathering of dhikr, or whether it be a gathering of mawlid, or whether it be a gathering of dars, or whatever. The first empty place you see, you sit down. You don't make a show of you entering. I'm here. Nobody wants to know, bro. Just shut up and sit down, innit? So you just walk in and you sit down. Yeah? But this, now, think about this particular incident that happened. Sayyidina